But first tonight, the South Aussie workers claiming a victory against a supermarket giant. After much campaigning, Woolworths has now severed ties with an overseas company which was supplying the supermarket with questionable home brand paper products. As Vassal Melandris reports, the fight came to a head in the state southeast, where a local Woolies decided to boycott the generic range amid concerns workers at the local pulp mill would be out of a job.
They're certainly showing up they're not as green as they'd like to make the public believe they are.
Well, if it's putting people Australians out of work and this type of thing, I think it's very bad.
It's important for us to be seen to be doing the right thing.
Woolworths are calling it an end to their contractual obligations. The rest of us are labelling it an embarrassing but welcome backflip.
Oh, certainly it's long overdue.
Earlier this year, we told you how Woolworths had been caught greenwashing their Select home brand label, making phony environmental claims about their tissues and toilet paper.
That's a cover-up, really.
The reality was Asia Pulp and Paper already had a dubious track record. It was banned by several companies for allegedly having links to illegal logging of Indonesian rainforests.
They seem to have some questionable forestry practices.
Deforestation of Sumatran rainforests, endangering wildlife species, moving on entire indigenous communities.
However, at the time, because APP was cheaper to manufacture and cheaper to buy, it got the nod from Woolies over locally produced pulp and paper at mills like this one down at Millicent.
Starting to look a bit ominous at the moment, particularly with where I work at the moment, where we do have a lot of machine shuts.
Father of three, Brian Walker, is just one of the 700 employees at Kimberley-Clark working in a climate of fear.
Do you have concerns that you and others could be put out of a job?
I've got a mortgage, 3 kids and a wife. That's a very serious concern of mine, not being able to put food on the table or pay the mortgage.
So the local Woolies store at Millicent did the unthinkable, defying its employers by refusing to stock their own Select brand in order to keep the locals happy.
They've taken it off the shelves just to stop any actions potentially from members going to those shops and actually making a scene.
And it appears to have paid off.
Woolworths has said they've finally decided to dump Asian Pulp and Paper as their supplier, but we obviously have concerns that to ensure that they follow through on that promise.
Federal Secretary of the CFMEU Paper and Pulp Division, Alex Miller, says it's taken 12 months of lobbying to Woolworths bosses and shareholders, as well as the ACCC, to get the message across.
It's taken this long for them to finally come back and say they're going to have a review of their existing sustainability issues around the product, and that they may tender the product to local or overseas manufacturers.
But Kimberley-Clark employees aren't out of the woods yet. Their jobs far from secure.
If the Millicent mill was to close, then I think that it wouldn't be far. You could call Millicent a ghost town.
Alex Miller's concern now is that Woolies will find a loophole in order to continue importing raw materials from questionable sources like APP and simply finish off the product here in Australia.
Which, in effect, they would be able to say that it's an Australian-made product or made from imported and Australian goods, but still, in fact, use APP as a supplier for the fibre.
It makes you wonder what's the point of local industries adhering to strict environmental standards when they don't even get a look in by the big 2 supermarkets.
Just like to call Woolworths to come out and make a definitive statement that they will not use Asian Pulp and Paper to source their products into the future.
And late today, we were contacted by Asia Pulp and Paper, which refutes any links to illegal logging in Indonesia.